Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of We Built a Gym. It's just going to be me this week. Obviously last week we're alternating between me and Luke, so last week was Luke, and this week's going to be me. Going to make it short and sweet, just because I think that's a good way to go, just so you can tune in, get out, that kind of thing. So today I want to talk about mood boosters and sort of some tips for productivity that you can have during this COVID-19 lockdown, quarantine, whatever you want to call it. So I've had a few people reach out to me, including clients and also my friends and stuff, and just say that they're struggling a bit with this lockdown, some more than others. Some people are liking it and getting stuff done. Some people have, found their lives have come to a halt because their job's been stopped and other stuff. They can't see their partner and all those things that, no one ever expected to happen, but they have. So just wanted to sort of give a few tips that I found that have helped me, and that I've seen on social media that have helped other people that I've sort of resonated with a bit. Obviously, I've got to stress, just because we're in lockdown doesn't mean it's a productivity contest. It's not about how much you can do while everything's closed and how much better you can be than other people, because that's just not what it's about. I mean, I haven't done too much personally, just made sure I kept on top of my training, tried to improve my diet a bit just because that was slacking. As those who are close to me will know, and also shaved my head, as you can see, nice aerodynamic look. So, I haven't done loads and loads of things, but I've made sure to keep on top of the basics and try and implement, a few new things into my sort of daily routine. So, starting with mood boosters, because I think this is an important one. It's quite a depressing, negative time, and I think everyone could use a little boost in their mood occasionally. So some really easy to apply and general things you can do is, number one, talk to your family and friends. There's plenty of ways you can reach out to people through video call or just regular call. Go on WhatsApp, Zoom, FaceTime, Skype. All of those are created exactly for that reason. So reach out to your family, have a chat with them, tell them how you're feeling, tell your friends how you're feeling, talk about your feelings. No, but seriously, because that's a really important thing to do. There's no point of just because it's, been labeled as lockdown, isolation, all that kind of thing, to actually isolate yourself. You can still reach out to these people you're closest to. So that's a really easy mood booster, but you'd be surprised how many people aren't doing it. People have really locked themselves away, and that sucks. Another one that I found quite sort of beneficial for me, and that's been quite nice, is making the effort to cook from scratch. So I know that sounds like that's something everyone should be implementing all the time, but when I'm in a rush or I'm on the go or I'm busy, and I know a lot of my friends and clients and stuff are busy people as well, convenience is going to be the key. So whilst you've got a bit of extra time, why not get a few ingredients together and try and cook from scratch and make yourself that meal? It just makes the whole process a little bit more rewarding. And I think it's quite a good mood booster in terms of making yourself feel better and also feel productive. So that's a good one to implement. See what recipes you can come up with, share it with your friends, see if they can do it as well. Next one is daily walks. There's no reason as to why you can't get out, especially when the weather's nice. Apparently it's meant to change over the next few days if you're watching this from Monday or Tuesday. But, while the weather is this nice, don't sit around and lock yourself inside. Try and get out, get on a walk. A bit of activity goes a long way. It doesn't have to be hours and hours. It can just be 20 minutes, half an hour, but you'll get your steps up and you'll feel a lot better once you get back home, trust me. Another easy mood booster, I think, is to not sit for a prolonged period during the daytime. Okay, so I know a lot of people who sit in their bed, from early hours until in the afternoon. They feel a hell of a lot worse than someone who's got up, forced themselves up and out a bit. Even if you don't have the motivation to get up and out, just force yourself up and out. You feel better for it. But try not to sit down and binge watch programs, from 9 a.m. onwards, and then you wake yourself up at 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, and then you sort of realize that you've thrown away a few hours, and it doesn't help you sitting indoors and sitting still as well. It doesn't really help in terms of feeling in a positive mood. So that's something to try and work on if you are currently doing that. And then the last thing is just going to be really basic, to cut out negative things. So something that's, that's quite a personal thing. So something that's negative for you. So For a lot of people, that's social media and the comparison and judgment and the negative side of social media that some people don't like, and it gets in their head and they really don't like it. So cut it out, take a week off social media. Why do you need to be on it? Anyone who wants to reach you can reach you through Messenger or whatever, and you'll be able to reach them if you want to reach them. But you don't need to be scrolling through Instagram for hours to stay productive and boost your mood. So that's an easy one to do. And then also things like news, keep up with like actual news places like BBC and ITV and stuff like that. But, reading through Lad Bible and the Sun on Facebook and stuff like that with all these dramatized articles is not going to help you with the positive feelings that you want to try and feel during this unprecedented time. So that's not going to be the best idea to surround yourself with a load of like dramatized, possibly fake, wrongly sourced news. So that's an easy mood booster, something to cut out. So those are sort of general ones. And then in terms of like physical mood boosters, I think I've sort of mentioned a couple of them already, but try and get on top of your training. Like if you're watching this, you're probably, We Built a Gym, you're probably doing something to do with fitness training, gym or online stuff. So, train, make the effort to train and stay active. It doesn't matter what you do. You don't have to be hitting 1 rep maxes. You don't have to be doing what you would normally do in the gym, but as long as you're trying to stay active in some way. So I know at Athlete Movement here, we've been putting out some home Metcons and stuff like that, stuff you can do without equipment and without gym kit at all. So there's no reason as to why you can't stay active. I know the motivation has dropped a bit. I know the motivation is a struggle for both nutrition and training, but right now is a time where you've really got to use some discipline and willpower and get yourself outside, get yourself into your home gym, garage gym, or just a space in your house and get active and do something, because you do feel better afterwards. I know that's so cliche, but you do get that endorphin release and it does feel good to do it. And if you can join in like a Zoom workout or like a group class online or something like that, then get involved, because that will help with the social aspect as well. And whilst the weather's nice, take advantage of it. It's UK, the weather always sucks here, so if it's nice, get outside, try something new. Even if you do some yoga, stretching, doesn't matter, but try and stay active, because physically that will help you and massively boost your mood as well. And then sort of mental mood boosters, which I quite like. I don't think you have to dramatize it and like label it as like self-care and all that kind of thing, because if you're washing yourself, then I would assume you'd be doing that, and that's not a form of self-care. But if that's important to you, then go for it. So things that I think are really easy to apply and that can be forgotten in this time is like trying to stay in sort of a routine. So personal hygiene is like a really easy one. Obviously, if you're just sitting indoors and you're not really doing anything, like why do I have to shower twice a day or have a bath or whatever? But make that effort to keep on top of your personal hygiene, and your sort of feeling fresh about yourself, because that's going to help a lot in terms of keeping your mood high. If you feel good, look good, that kind of thing. They correlate. So keep on top of your personal hygiene, have those showers. Do your makeup if you want to do your makeup, if it makes you feel good. I can't say I'm big on the makeup scene, but, whatever floats your boat. Personal hygiene, yeah. And then things like fresh clothes and, keeping on top of like washing your clothes, making sure they're dry and stuff like that, and feeling fresh. You'd be surprised how many people are living in the same clothes day in, day out. Myself not included, even though I can't still match my socks, but we'll get there. And then another thing, like mentally, just staying busy. So, using all those things I've said, cooking from scratch, projects around the house, staying active, stay busy, because that's going to help you not get into like a mental slump, but you've also got to make sure that you can have that independent time where you can sort of sit with yourself, sit with your feelings, and, go through that process. But I think that kind of ties into my next point, which is allowing yourself time to relax, and sort of make sure that you've got time for yourself. I know that sounds silly because obviously we're spending time alone or just with our partners or whatever, but make sure you actually give yourself time to relax as well and sort of take everything in. And then that kind of ties into my next point, which is to, again, talk about your feelings with your family and friends. Make sure that you're not mentally sitting with it all in your head, and, you're not bottling up emotions, which is going to be quite easy because you're not seeing as many people. There's not as much emotional release going on, if you know what I mean. So make sure you're actually talking about how you're feeling. If you're feeling pretty negative, tell your significant other, friends, family, whatever, and try and express that to them, because that can help you feel a lot better and can lift your mood. And they, people can say things that sort of change your perspective or viewpoint on things, and I think that's very important in this time as well. Mental health does matter. So in a time like this where a lot of people's mental health could be affected, then it's probably a good idea to try and address it and stay on top of it as well. Cool. So those are like general mood boosters you can use, or that I've been applying, that I know my friends, clients, family have been applying. So that's some good stuff there. And then on to the next bit, which is productivity. So staying productive in this time, making sure that you're not just sitting there being a slob and like not doing anything. As I said, it's not a productivity contest, so we're not talking about like who can get the most done, or you don't have to come out of this, speaking 5 languages and know how to milk a cow. But as long as you're staying on top of things to do something whilst this time is going on, and maybe preparing yourself for afterwards as well. So I know a lot of people have been furloughed from work, or laid off work, even in even worse situations, of which I feel really bad about, because I know a lot of friends and clients who have had that happen to them, and that sucks. But if you go into that negative mental slump about it, it's not going to help at all. So a real good thing you could do to stay productive, really easy one to start with, is like clean and tidy and sort your personal living space. So whether that be your bedroom, your living room, your cupboard of clothes or whatever, just because that's going to help you firstly feel productive, and secondly it's going to do something that's going to affect your daily routine. So you walk into like a clean, tidy, neat environment, it's going to just sort of make everything clean, neat and tidy in your head, rather than like walking into a place where it looks like a bomb's gone off, and then you're going to walk in and get frustrated and stressed about that, and it's just not something you need. So use this time to sort that stuff you haven't sorted in 10 years. You can focus on little DIY projects. So I know a lot of people have been like building their own sort of home gym equipment, have been making sure that they sort out that project in the garage that they haven't done in a few years, or when they have time. You got some time now, so get it done. Or just like old things that need sorting or throwing away. Obviously all the dumps are closed, so that's not ideal, but at least you can get stuff in place to actually go towards those activities that you have been wanting to do for a while. And then another thing, like I said earlier, was to stay productive is cooking. So making sure that you're eating properly and as nutritiously as possible, rather than like oven food and stuff like that. So cooking from scratch is going to help a lot. And also like cooking for the family and stuff. If you're not used to sitting everyone down in one place and like having a family meal, then that might be quite a productive thing to do during this time, just so that you've got that sort of firstly that quality time together, and secondly something to do, something to keep everyone productive, like preparing the food, or preparing the certain recipe that you're doing, or focusing on something out of your comfort zone that you've never like baked before, or anything like that. These are just ideas. This is what I've seen some people do. They're not necessarily things you have to go and do, just to say that. And then another thing you do is like a new activity. If you want to try and learn a new language, if you have a guitar that you've always wanted to pick up and try and play, like now is the time we could try and do that kind of stuff, or learn a new skill or hobby, get involved in something online, then, great time to do it. And then the last thing I would say for staying productive is maybe making sure that things are in place for after COVID, after the lockdown ends, after this whole pandemic ends, or at least dissipates. Financially, maybe making sure that things are prepared, maybe looking into some stocks and shares, or like investments, or something along those lines. Making sure that what you're going to be doing after the pandemic ends or the lockdown ends. There's going to be different stages to it, so things are going to be lifted, and then it's going to be a while till we're out of the deep, so to speak. But yeah, just making sure things are in place for afterwards. That's personal to you and your family maybe, but just sort of knowing a plan in place and some actionable steps that you're going to take after the worst of it is gone, then that might help you sort of stay productive and be productive afterwards as well, rather than like have your whole life come to a halt and then that trend continues into after this all sort of goes away. Right, that is it. So mood boosters, productivity, kind of some ideas, tips, tricks you guys can apply during this time. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully you can at least try one of them. I've seen a lot of people stay active and being productive, so that is the main thing. All my family, friends, clients seem to be in a good place. And I've seen them apply some of this stuff and it's helped them a lot. So, I'm not just saying it because I think it will help people. It actually has helped people. If you try any of it, leave us a comment. Tell us what you do. Tag us on social media. Tag me, BLG Strength. Tag the gym, athlete_movement. And, tell us what you've been up to. But that is it for this episode. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and sort of keep an eye on the further videos we've got. I reckon we might have a few more weeks of us doing it individually, alternating week to week. So send us in questions, ideas, recommendations, whatever you want to do. Share this video around, give it a like, and we will see you in the next episode. Cheers, guys.